joining me. So just a brief December update, what's going on in the garden, including a new greenhouse, or PVC, PE greenhouse, I guess. Going to be having a look at my garlic, maybe throwing some leaves on it in a form of a mulch. And I have some Brussels sprouts to stake up as well. I won't be having them for Christmas dinner, as I knew, but we'll let them grow on, see how they go. But they'll need a bit of staking because the wind's been a bit intense recently, so to keep them from flying away. And yeah, speaking of which, this new greenhouse. So I got this in the clearance sale of a quite well-known Irish and British DIY garden centre that's closing down. So it wasn't quite a steal, but so it's a week old and it's already flipped over. So one flip and not one rip, but two rips and a broken zip, which I've mended, quote unquote, with zip ties. So yeah, a week old and already some issues. So I've already zip tied the bottom. This little piece here is really useful. A lot of them don't come with these, and I find this is quite useful as a wraparound. Some people put tape on. I suppose cable ties are going to weaken the structure arguably a little bit, but so far so good since the flip. But I put these on after I flipped over. And I've also made these, well, I say made, I cut a piece of wood in two and quite long, so they go in quite deep, and just put them at an angle, so it stays in place a little bit. It's only barely fitting. In fact, it's not fitting at all. The back here, it's coming up off the ground a little bit, but sure, it is what it is. And I've got a few heavy things as well, just on top of it as well, just to keep it in place. Not to mention cable ties where it's already ripped and coming loose, because these things aren't really very good at all. They're quite loose and prone to snapping, and yeah, I thought with this larger kind they might be a little bit more robust, but unfortunately not. And the same goes for the ties on the doors, the same material, and prone to the same issues, not to mention the zips, which as I pointed out, have already fell off, and with previous ones I was able to attach them back on, but this one seemed to be a bit more of a struggle, so I broke out the cable ties and won't be opening that side anyway. But there is these vents, but I find with these is they're just Velcro, so I don't know if they're going to be so easy to get on after a bit of rain, but we'll see. The other question that I had was whether or not to put permanent or semi-permanent beds in here, or just use big containers and buckets like I have done previously. And I think it's probably best to go with the buckets and containers for this year at least, just to see how things go on. I mean, there's no point in putting semi-permanent or permanent beds in if the whole thing's going to come crashing down. So we'll stick with the buckets and the big containers and sure, whatever I can find. Steaks at the ready. I'll go and have a look at these Brussels sprouts. I've staked up 3 in the front already. It's just this one lonesome one out here in the back. Although having said that, it's probably the healthiest of all of them. Just grab me cane and throw it in next to it. About 5 inches or so away. Whatever it takes, doesn't really matter as long as your twine's long enough. Now I'm using a bit of cheap ass twine. And as you can see, it's quite thin and quite hard, and so possibly using something like a ribbon or something wider might be a little bit better, so it won't dig into the stem of the plant. But this is what I have, so this is what I'm going with. There's a lemon balm from a previous video. Hello. Now I always make a figure of 8 and wrap it around a few times, 3 or 4. Before tying it to the cane, and that's how I do it with most things. I'm staking up sunflowers, tomatoes, etc, etc. These were quite late to be transplanted, so that's why they're not ready yet, but I said I'd throw them in rather than compost them. Then just snippety snip off the excess. You're laughing. Here's the sprouts in the front, staked up. Bit of weeding to be done there, as always. I see ya. Sure. I'll be having sprouts for Christmas, but sure. There's the garlic that I planted a couple of weeks ago. A few weeks ago now. 15 in total. I'm thinking they're a little bit exposed now, so they could do with a bit of a mulching. So I'm going to use a few leaves. You might remember this bed from a previous video. I covered it with leaves, and most of the leaves are gone, due somewhat to earthworms. They're good friends, bacteria and fungus, but primarily due to crows. And yeah, it has been keeping things warm. There's a few voluntary coriander decided to pop up, but bearing that in mind, when I'm mulching these with leaves, I'll need to throw some sort of a net or something over them, and yeah, just in case the old curious crows decide to pull up the garlic in the process of rooting through the leaves. Sure, while I'm here, I might as well top up this one with whatever leaves I have left. The crow's playground. Some damage there from the greenhouse flipping over. There too. Look, some new growth on something that I just cut back and left in the ground. And where the will, there's a way. Life finds a way. So that's all I have for today. Just a few jobs before it gets too dark. So thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. Take care. Slán.